Welcome back to the Curiosity Cave. We're up to episode 8 already, and this episode will include the cards from alphabetically from binder with Luke Easter through Jim Gentile. And the first one we have up here is Big Luke Easter, and he has 3 different cards, and these are 2 of the 3. The one on the left is the dark bottom, dark border, and these were from 1951. The dark border is on the bottom. Sometimes you can't even see the Made in USA. And the one on the right is the black and white version from 1952. Luke was a big long ball hitter. He's pictured in a San Diego uniform with the logos airbrushed out. San Diego Padres PCL team, that is. Here's Bruce Edwards. His card was only printed in 1948, and he was a catcher with the Dodgers, later on Cubs, a couple other teams. He played for the Dodgers in the 47 and 49 World Series as a catcher. And here's your Dal Ennis Rainbow. These are the 4 Dal Ennis cards in the 47 through 66 exhibit set. The one on the left is the tan Made in USA version. The next one is dark border from 51. Dark bottom border. And the next one is black and white from 1952. And finally, printed in USA version versus made in USA. And the printed version was from 1959. So his cards are made from 47 through 59. Great player with the old Phillies and several other teams. Al Evans. These are both of his cards that are in the set. One on the left with the tape on the top and bottom. That was printed in 50, 51, and 53, and the one on the right is the black and white version from 1952. He was a longtime catcher with the Washington Senators. Walter Hoot Evers. Hoot Evers was a outfielder for the Detroit Tigers, late 40s, early 50s, and he played for several other teams after that. His cards were printed between 48 and 53. One on the right is the 52 black and white, and the one on the left is 48 through 51 and again in 53. You could find these cards either in the exhibit machines or cello packs. Ferris Fane. Here's the 2 different poses of Ferris Fane and the 3 different cards. He also has a postcard back, but I never see the postcard backs, as I said before. One on the left is the fielding pose, and that's from 1948 and 49. You could find that card. And then the one in the middle is the 52 black and white. And the one on the far right is 51, and then again 53 through 56. And Ferris Fane, 2-time American League batting champ for the Philadelphia Athletics, 290 lifetime average, so he's a pretty decent player. Dick Turk Farrell. You could see his baseball cards for Topps had Turk Farrell, journeyman pitcher with the Phillies and Astros and other teams. These are his 2 exhibit cards. He has a 63 stat pack exhibit, and a blank back on the right is from 64, 65, 66. He had a tragic end to his life at an auto accident in England. I believe he was only 43 at the time. But I like that Colt 45's cap that he's wearing. Rapid Robert Bob Feller. This is a salutation exhibit that was continued to be printed after 1946. On the left, we have the Made in USA tan version, which was printed 48 through 51 and then 53 through 57. The one on the right is the black and white version. These both have the larger projection than the 1946 version. Of course, Bob is very famous for signed autographs. He's also had 3 no-hitters, served their country in World War II, and he's pretty much a legend in the Cleveland area. Van Meter, Iowa native. Chairman of the board, Whitey Ford, legendary Yankee pitcher, Mickey Mantle buddy. And these are 2 of the photo options you have for Whitey. There's a portrait version that's rather rare from 66. The one in the middle, that one is from 64, 65, 66. But 66 has another version, the portrait version. The other Whitey where you can't see his glove, that was printed from 57 through 61. You can see one is black and white on the right, and one is tan on the left. And there's also 3 stat back versions of the photo on the right and left. I do not have any of the stat backs at this time. That's something to look for. Dick Fowler, longtime pitcher for the Philadelphia Athletics through the 40s, early 50s. Served a couple years in the military. I think 15-8 was probably his best year. This card is from 1948, or no, 1949 only, because it has, you can tell what era because it has the N exhibit card on the left, Made in USA. I remember him being a pitching coach back in the 60s. Nellie Fox, great second baseman for the White Sox. Finished off his career in Houston. He's got a lot of different variations, and mostly it's in the minutia. Like, does the printed start in under the O in Fox or the X in Fox? Is it black and white like the one on the right? Or, and then he has 3 stat back issues. Everything has the same pose, just different color variations or stats or location of where the printed starts on the bottom. But all-time great player, fun part of the set. Tito Francona, Terry Francona's father. Used to be the other way around. Used to be Tito Francona's son was Terry Francona, but Son has done very well as a manager and was a decent player also. Same pose for all 4 Tito Francona cards. They're all same pose. Everything else is pretty much the same except 3 of them are stat backs. I have the 61 or I have the 62 black and red and the 63. And let's see, this is a 63 stat. This is a 62 red. And the 62 black. And as I'm going through this, I notice a lot of cards that I need are variations. So that was my first part, was to try and get at least 1 card of every player, and then work on the variations after that. Bob Friend, workhorse pitcher for the 50s and early 60s Pittsburgh Pirates. 20-game winner once. He finished with over 160 complete games. Nowadays, that's preposterous. But Bob did have 3 exhibit cards. There was a 57-58, and that was tan. 59 and 61 is tan. And then a black and white 1960. This is the tan 59-61. You can see printed is farther away from the name. That's where the difference would be with the 57 and 58. Bob had a losing record career-wise, but most of his losses were with the early 50s Pirates before the Clemente era began. Carl Furillo, awesome outfielder for the Brooklyn Dodgers, won the 53 National League batting title, had a rifle for an arm, finished his career with a 299 batting average. He's I don't know if he's a little bit outside or he might be inside in the future. I mean, that's being in the military and starting your career at age 24. Got to give it a little leeway there. But this card was printed in 2 years, 48 and 49. Same card, no variations. Augie Galan. He was a longtime Cubs and Brooklyn Dodger outfielder. He also played utility positions in the infield, so he's a very versatile player. This card was only printed in 1948, no variations. Nice patch on his shoulder there. This is pretty much toward the end of his career when this card was made. Jim Gentile, slugger, Baltimore Orioles. I think he had over 40 home runs in 1961. He has 4 different cards. The one on the left is the black stats. I want to thank Dave Keel for that card. The one on the right is blank back, 64, 65, 66 printing. One of the few horizontal cards in the set. And this ends my episode 8. look forward to next Monday for the next episode. Learn with me. I've learned a lot just going through it myself. For the 20th time going through the cards, it's been a blast for me, and I hope everybody has a great week. Thank you.